He doesn't send the second text. Someone pulls away and he doesn't chase the silence. He doesn't over explain. He doesn't perform hurt to prove he cares. People call it cold. People call it arrogant. Some people call it not caring enough. And here's the part that will unsettle you. The men who never beg aren't the ones who cared the least. Most of them are the ones who once cared so much it almost destroyed them. Here's what almost nobody understands. It's the opposite of not caring. It's one of the rarest psychological states a person can build, and it has almost nothing to do with confidence the way you think about confidence. Let's get into exactly what it is. Psychologists have a concept for this. It's called differentiation of self, the ability to stay emotionally steady and whole, even when someone you care about pulls back, disagrees, or leaves. Most people's sense of worth is tangled up with how others respond to them. Approval feels like oxygen. Distance feels like suffocation. But some men build something different, a version of self-worth that doesn't move when someone else's affection does. Psychologists have started calling the result secure detachment, not coldness, not indifference, a nervous system that simply doesn't collapse when love feels uncertain. Society gets this completely wrong. It hands men two scripts: chase relentlessly because persistence is romantic, or suppress everything because real men don't need anyone. Neither one is this. A man with secure detachment isn't following a script at all. He's just not willing to shrink himself to be chosen. And because that doesn't fit either script, people mislabel it constantly: arrogant, avoidant, emotionally unavailable, when really it's the one thing almost nobody teaches: staying whole while still fully wanting someone. There's a biological piece too. When rejection or distance triggers panic in someone, their amygdala, the brain's threat detector, treats it almost like physical danger. Heart rate spikes, sleep gets disrupted for days. The brain replays the moment on a loop at 2 a.m., refusing to let it go. In men with secure detachment, that threat response barely fires. Their body doesn't interpret someone pulling away as an emergency. It interprets it as information. That's not suppression. That's a nervous system that was never taught to treat love as survival. Not every man develops this the same way. Some had a steady, consistent presence early on, someone whose love never had to be earned, which quietly taught their body that worth isn't a performance. Others built it the harder way, through loss. They begged once. They chased someone who was already gone, and somewhere in that humiliation, something in them closed a door it never reopened, not out of bitterness, but as a boundary that became permanent. Both paths lead to the same place, different roads, same secure detachment. And there's memory underneath all of it. The nervous system remembers what begging cost the last time. It remembers the silence after the extra text. It remembers being smaller than the moment required just to keep someone from leaving. That memory doesn't just fade. It becomes a rule the body enforces automatically, long after the mind has moved on. Now, here are 7 ways this actually shows up. 1. He doesn't double text. Silence gets space, not a follow-up. Not because he doesn't notice it, because he refuses to negotiate for a reply. 2. He says what he wants once. If it's ignored, he doesn't repeat it louder. He simply notices the answer he already got. 3. He walks away calmly when he's disrespected. No speech, no dramatic exit line, just distance without asking permission to leave. 4. He doesn't perform jealousy to get reassurance. He won't manufacture a reaction just to see if someone still cares. 5. He doesn't shapeshift to be chosen. Not colder, not more available, not more impressive than he actually is on a normal Tuesday. 6. He can sit in the discomfort of someone pulling away without needing to fix it immediately. The urge to chase shows up. He just doesn't act on it. 7. He doesn't need the last word. No closure speech. No explanation tour. If it's over, it's over. And he lets it end without narrating it. Here's the reframe, and this part matters. This isn't about not feeling things. A man with secure detachment can be moved, hurt, even quietly devastated by someone leaving. The difference isn't the absence of feeling. It's that the feeling doesn't get to run the operation. He can miss someone and still not chase them. He can want someone and still not beg. That's not emotional shutdown. That's the highest form of emotional control most people never build. because you built a version of self worth that doesn't collapse when someone else's does. That took something most people never had to develop because most people never lost enough or never had enough steadiness early on to need it. The real gift here isn't detachment for its own sake. It's this: you get to love people without needing them to complete you first. That's rarer than confidence. That's rarer than charm. That's a whole person choosing another whole person instead of a hungry person hoping to be filled. If this described you, drop a comment and tell us which sign hit closest, or tell us the moment you built this. Was it given to you early, or did you have to earn it the hard way? This community reads every single one, and you'll be surprised how many people are quietly carrying the exact same story. This is exactly the kind of thing psych patterns exists for, pulling apart the traits that get misjudged and handing you the real psychology sitting underneath them, one pattern at a time. If this landed, subscribe, because there's a lot more of this story we haven't gotten to yet. Here's the last thing worth remembering: wanting someone was never the weakness. Needing them to complete a hole in you, that's what begging was actually about. You didn't lose the ability to love when you stopped chasing. You just stopped confusing love with survival. And once you see the difference, you never go back to begging again.